All right, everyone, happy hump day. 7:04 right now as we record this. We've got it live. It's also recorded, so you may catch it later in your feed. And if so, you can scrub through the video and find the part that you want. But right now, looking live out over Children's Mercy Park on what is a record-breaking night for an MLS match. It is so cold out there that this will be the coldest MLS match in history. They're rewriting the record books. I'll show you that data here in just a second. But it is frigid out there tonight, and tonight is going to be the worst of this cold snap. It'll bring our lowest temperatures. We're crushing records. Wind chills are absolutely going to tank. We've got it all happening tonight. And then again tomorrow. Friday is going to be really cold too before we start to see some big improvements that you're going to love, I bet. I'm excited about it. So let's just hop into it and show you what we're looking at as we go ahead. All right, so first off, check this out. Our current temperature in Kansas City is 3. It is a whole 3 degrees. Compare that to Fairbanks, Alaska, 21. Oh my goodness. They're 7 times warmer in Fairbanks than we are here in Kansas City. Not something that you see all that often. It happens sometimes. It has to do with the trajectory of the cold air, but Kansas City isn't usually colder than Alaska, but it is today. Why is it so cold? You might be wondering, what is the deal? What's going on here? Well, we have high pressure, extra strong high pressure. Now, typically when you hear anything with the weather, it's tied to low pressure. High pressure, though, is cold air is dense. It's heavier than warm air. And that dense, heavy air sinks down to the ground, and that causes your pressure to rise. So the colder it gets, the higher your pressure is, and this is an extra strong high pressure that came in straight out of the North Pole. So with that, our temperatures just bottomed out. Now, something else that you may have heard, a buzzword, is the polar vortex. And the polar vortex is something that's always there. It's been there since the beginning of time. But when it gets disrupted and dislodged, then lobes of cold air can break free from the Arctic, from the poles, and pass way farther south than where they typically are. That also happened too. So the answer of why it's so cold is a disruption in the polar vortex and an extra strong high pressure out of the north. That's the answer. All right, so the coldest of this happens tonight. What are we talking about? Well, it's first warm weather day, our highest alert, because this is truly dangerous cold. I mean, if you're out in this for any length of time, you really got to be ready for it. So we're down to 10 degrees below zero by tomorrow morning. And that's going to beat the standing record of 2. Now, it's unusual to break records. I mean, that's the records. They're inherently rare. But when you beat them, you usually beat them by a degree or 2. To beat them by 12 degrees, pretty remarkable. That's what we're going to do by tomorrow morning. And with that, not a lot of wind here, but it just doesn't take much. You just get just a little bit of a breeze, and it just takes those wind chills down to 20 to 30 below. And that's what we'll have as we get going tomorrow. At the moment, again, 3. The coldest MLS match in history. It feels like 10 below right now. Wind's only 8 miles an hour. But the coldest MLS match ever was 18. So we just shatter that. We already have. Portland at Colorado in 2019. Now, this forecast graphic was off by a degree. We were forecasting it would be 4 at 7. So I have to update that. It was colder. It was 3. And by the end of the match, we're thinking it's about 1 degree below zero with wind chills at 10 to 15 below with that northwest wind at 5, maybe 15 miles per hour. So that's for everybody that's out there tonight. If you know anybody that's out there and it's hardy enough to go for that, hats off to them. They are tough, tough, tough. Sorry if you hear that. No, our alarm was going off. Sorry about that. Okay, so we told you about tomorrow, but it's not just tomorrow. Tomorrow is a record breaker, but so is Friday. Friday's at 4 below. The record is 0. So 2 more cold mornings to go. Tomorrow afternoon's also a record cold. Let's look at the wind chills here. So again, tomorrow's 20 to 30 below. The computer forecast has us at 26 below in Kansas City. So some of us will be in that 30 range. And then by Friday morning, we're still about 10 to 20 degrees below zero. By Saturday morning, hey, we're above 0 with our wind chill. We're at 1. All right. But it's still pretty rough. Weekend's going to be a lot better, though. But when it gets this cold, something to consider tonight and Friday is our pipes can burst. And I don't mean your exposed hose pipe for outside. I'm talking about even your pipes that are within your house. Like if they're on an exterior wall and they don't have a lot of insulation around them, they can burst. That's why you hear drip your faucets, open your cabinets, all that kind of stuff. Try to keep that water flowing. It'll save you some money. I mean, if you burst a pipe, you got problems. You've got water damage. You've got mold problems. It's just an issue on top of the pipe repair itself. Frostbite in a half hour or less. We ran a story last night, if you watched the 10 o'clock newscast, where a guy had walked for a half hour to his house. He was out somewhere with friends, and then he walked a half hour to his house. He's an outdoorsy guy. It was about this cold, and he thought, I'll just do that. And by the time he got home, he said he was in some pain in his toes, and he showed a picture, and his toes were all pink, and he lost all 10 of his toes. It was just spooky kind of story. But it just highlights how it happens. And then our pets too. We think our pets, they've got fur, they're more resilient than we are to the cold. Well, not necessarily. They're as vulnerable to hypothermia and frostbite as we are. And then finally, the salt on the roads loses its effectiveness when it's this cold. Now, we did some melting today on the roads. I'm sure you noticed that. They got a little slushy traction from the tires and from the treatment that was on the roads with the sunshine. We had wet roads. But tonight, all that's going to refreeze. So I don't think it's a big issue, but I think in some spots you're going to have icy patches tomorrow morning. So about 35 degrees colder than normal for our high on Thursday. Big blob of blue. Blue is colder than normal air. So what we're looking for is to kick that out of here. And boy, did we do that by this weekend. We're into Sunday. It's gone. And we're back to normal. And then we look to our west and we see the red. And the red indicates warmer than normal air. We really hope we get that, do we? Oh, yeah. Here it comes in a big way. 10 degrees warmer than normal by early next week. Early next week is fantastic. This weekend is actually going to be pretty fantastic. So normal high is 45. I mean, we're only at 12 tomorrow. Then 22 on Friday. That's close to our normal low, and we're going to have that for a high. The record on Friday is 19, so I think we're going to beat that, but still about half of normal. Then Saturday, 35. Saturday's not bad. It's going to feel like a heat wave compared to what we've had. But then Sunday, man, we've got to be outside. We've got a great day on Sunday. We're pushing near 50 degrees. We're above normal by a little bit. And then Monday and Tuesday, did you ever think that you would look so forward to a Monday as this? 57 and then 60 on Tuesday. Just a remarkable turnaround from 10 degrees below zero tomorrow to 60 on next Tuesday. That's a 70-degree warm-up in what? Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, 6 days? Just incredible. Really 5 days, something like that. So anyway, here's again what we have now across the area. We're down to 0 actual air temperature in St. Joe, 2 in Cameron, 2 in Bethany, 1 in Maryville, 5 in Olathe, 9 in Harrisonville, single digits everywhere that you go. Our current wind chills ranging from 0 in Harrisonville because you don't have wind, but 10 below is pretty common. We're about 15 below in Atchison, St. Joe, places like that. And our wind here, as we showed you earlier, it's not much. It's going to be about 5 to 10 miles per hour overnight tonight and into tomorrow morning. So that's really, again, about all that it takes. And then by tomorrow, we're down this low. I mean, 10 degrees below zero is not uncommon. Some of us 5, 7, something like that, 11 in Lawrence, 12 below in Maryville. And here's how the wind chills work out through the day. I mean, even at lunchtime, you're getting up at 11 o'clock and you're still feeling like 10 degrees below zero. It's just really, really, really cold. And then this is the day. We don't crack above 0 air temperature until about 11. And then you're at 6 degrees at 1. We have lots of sunshine tomorrow, kind of like today. That sun helps. Sun and a light wind makes a big difference. 12 by 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and then 6 at 7 p.m. for tomorrow evening. All right, here's that 7-day. And after you're past the red bars on Thursday and Friday, our first warm weather days, we're in good shape. 35 on Saturday. Saturday has light winds and sunshine. Sunday, again, back to normal. Normal high by Sunday is 47, actually. 57 on Monday. 60 on Tuesday. This is normal for late March. We go from this, what's normal for the North Pole, to what's normal for late March in Kansas City. It's a little taste of spring, some spring vibes. And then our next system that comes in, here, let me get you the full 7-day. You don't have my face covering it up. Our next system comes in, looks like Wednesday of next week. Doesn't look overly powerful, but it does have a cold front. So we're going to expect temperatures to drop a little bit by then. Doesn't look overly powerful, but we'll begin cooling down again on Wednesday, and it brings rain with it instead of snow. Let's see if we have that loaded in. I'm not sure that I do. Nope, wrong stat. but I was going to show you a little bit of rain. Right now it looks like Wednesday morning for some patchy scattered showers. No threat for snow at this point. I'm ready to be done shoveling snow. I did that this morning, so I bet a lot of you did too. At least it was a powdery light snow. So there we go, everybody. That's the plan over the next week. Big changes ahead, but for now and tomorrow morning, worst of it. Friday is still really, really, really cold, and then we're into the weekend, and I think we're all going to love it. Hope again that this helps and maybe brightens your day a little bit. Know that what we've got's coming is going to be pretty good. Updates for you coming up at 10 o'clock. Be happy to share anything that we see there. We'll put some final polishes on the forecast lows and wind chills for our Thursday. Otherwise, have a wonderful night. Always appreciate you joining us, and take care. We'll see you later.